of the planet's most biologically rich and environmentally important ecosystems. So, lots of new roads are soon to come, dear listener. This means a further shrinking of roadless areas. But why roadless areas are so important? What's in for the human beings if they are preserved? The answer after the break.
Hi, my name is Pavel Makradudu Lancaster Borgsks. You probably remember me for causing a cramp to the Procas area of your brain just a second ago. I'm here to sensitize you to a very important environmental question: the lack of a global policy to protect and preserve the last free-living, non-domesticated exemplars of youths in white and short socks over sandals, a species of meek bipeds whose flocks in the past were usually seen in warm, sunny habitats, and that now fashion pesticides, good taste epidemics, and the conspiracy of something has led to the brink of extinction. If you too, like me, love nature and biodiversity, please take action and send a clear message to your sock shoe shop of choice to ask for more attention about this important issue.
This message was approved by the WOGI, the World Home and What a Waste of My Time Global Initiative.
So, dear listener, in the end, one can ask himself / herself, why bother and take care of the roadless areas? For starter, dear listener, roadless areas contribute to preserve biodiversity, as they are habitat that can keep well-fed and alive endangered species. Besides, roadless areas are barriers against the spread of pests, invasive species, and both animal and human diseases. And roadless areas, especially if large, grant crop pollination, air quality, water supply, and erosion control. And, dear listener, roadless areas are of much importance when it comes to climate change. Roadless areas, indeed, are less stressed ecosystems that, as a consequence, are more capable than ecosystems already altered by human activities to cope with the consequences, to recover faster, and to be less influenced by external forces like the climatic threats. Moreover, roadless areas can become a safe haven for those species forced by the climate changes to move from their original habitat. Areas with no roads are better at the carbon sequestration game. Think of it, dear listener. In places with low accessibility, like the remote mountain areas, the amount of deadwood and soil carbon should be higher. Hence, if the carbon is there, it is not in the air. And if carbon is not in the air, love prevails in the air. Cupid is happier. The chocolate industry drives, meaning more jobs and more money for the people. More work given the chocolate for the dentists, who then pay more taxes. More taxes mean more welfare state, that coupled with more chocolate in the streets mean less stress and more joy in general. So, in conclusion, dear listener, less roads mean less carbon in the air, therefore less CO2 in the atmosphere, and more chocolate for everybody. Moreover, areas with no or just a few roads provide protection against the impacts of storm events like flooding, landslides, and wildfires, besides acting as actual weather extremes buffers and keep local climates stable. Anyway, dear listener, let's make the whole thing more concrete. Let's put the nice words aside and talk about money, money, money. Let's consider, for example, the economic value of the forest ecosystems that the roads contribute to put at risk. I quote from a review about the economic value of forest ecosystems here. In forests, ecosystem components such as microorganisms, soils, and the vegetative cover interact to purify air and water, regulate the climate, and recycle nutrients and wastes. Without these and many other ecosystems, goods and services, life as we know it would not be possible. It has been calculated that the total value of forest ecosystem goods and services is of $4.7 trillion annually. So let's break these numbers down, won't you? The total value of forest ecosystem goods and services is of $4.7 trillion annually. $4.7 trillion are roughly half the GDP of the euro area and China, 1/3 of that of the European Union, 1/4 of the GDP of the USA, or if you prefer, 3.5 times the GDP of Russia, 2 times the GDP of France and India, or if you prefer, it's about the GDP of Japan. The forests made in USA alone are worth $63.2 billion a year. The 75% of the forest ecosystem value is accounted by climate regulation, waste treatment, and food production. As for biodiversity, it is estimated that the US agriculture would spend $54 billion a year if it had to use chemical pesticides to replace the natural pest control services from all natural ecosystems. Moreover, the pollination job done by natural ecosystems is worth $4 to $7 billion annually to the US agriculture only. And not to mention the recreation factor. Ooh la la, ooh la la. The economic value of tourism in the US roadless areas is calculated in $600 million a year. So, dear listener, as you can see, lots of money from the roadless areas. But again, roads are not only useful, are essential to humankind's well-being. You humans cannot simply get rid of roads or even stop building them. So, what you humans can do about this problem? Well, Professor Salva Fernandez and colleagues first of all say that the world policy must become conscious of the necessity to preserve, restore and monitor the still existing roadless areas. Some things that can be done are to avoid the before mentioned first cut, meaning to leave pristine areas alone, put a greater emphasis on the so-called offshore projects that don't need a road network. An example is a natural gas project deep in the Peruvian Amazon, which has no road linkages, with all personnel brought by helicopter in and out the site, and with 2 pipelines buried, and the area above them recovered with plants and trees. Then, strict early screenings on the sites of planned new roads need to become a must, along with greater transparency, a strong public engagement, and a systematic, thoughtful analysis of both direct and indirect effects of new roads and roads upgrades. So, dear listener, it's a matter of strategy, and I'm done.
Science man, come out and play. Science man, come out and play. Science man, come out and play.
This is a podcast by sciencemag.com.